Hey, what's going on everybody? Poison Snow here, and today we're going to be talking about what the community manager for Modern Warfare 3 said that the developers are going to be doing with the new maps. So, if you did not really know, they said that they're going to eliminate hot spotting and kind of flatten the maps so there's not elevation differences. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the hotspots. So what you see on the screen right now is just a blank overhead of array. And in a couple of minutes what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle in green the hotspots on the map. If you do not already know, the hotspots are the areas where players usually rush to. There's a lot of gunfights, perhaps there's an objective placed there, but there's always people doing something in that area, and this kind of encourages camping, because with every hotspot comes an area near it that has a lot of cover and an easy view onto the hotspot where people just sit and pick off random players that don't really suspect that there's going to be people sitting in these areas. So that's honestly going to really affect the gameplay. So what the developers from Modern Warfare 3 are going to do, they're going to try to even out the areas of the map. So instead of always taking one route because it's the best, players have an option between 3 or 4 equal routes. So we saw that kind of taking place in Modern Warfare 2. Maybe not to a really great extent, but in Black Ops we see a lot of these hotspots. Not on all the maps, but I'm picking 2 where I see obvious hotspots and obvious camping spots near them. So right now we're going to transition to the second slide, which is array, and in green I circled the hotspots on array. So now we see that in green, the 2 green ovalish things in the middle of the map are the 2 hotspots that where the players always rush. No matter which team, there's always people rushing to that area. And there's probably more, but the hotspots are really the areas where the most players rush to. So I kind of circled the 2 major ones. So the one on top, near B on domination, is probably the more used hotspot. You always see players rushing there, either if they have A spawn on domination, or even if they have C spawn on domination. Players are always trying to rush through that area because it's the quickest to get to the other side of the map, and it's also the most open. There's the least obstacles. It's just more usable than the other spots on the map. So the one lower, in between C and A, you kind of see that little more extended oval, and this isn't as used, that maybe depending on the game type, but you see a lot of players rush here as soon as they spawn, and that's because they're expecting other players to be coming from that area as well, which is also true. So you see a lot of nade spawns, or spawn nades, coming from these areas, and snipers always sitting in either side of the spot. So right now we're going to transition to the camping spots that are caused by these hot spots. And don't be taken aback, there's a lot of red circles on the map, and each red circle is a spot on the map where players sit and camp and wait for others to kind of come into view and pick them off while they're running. So now we see the third picture of array where in red I circled the camping spots where people sit and wait for people to rush to the hot spots and just kind of pick them off. So there's quite a few of them. In the next map we're going to see a lot more, but we see the large station, which is the top, kind of the most elevated position on the entire map. That's the second most top oval. And there's plenty more. There's some in the buildings looking over the B site. There's one going through the doorway in the B site. There's 3 overlooking that large strip of land, which is that road where people rush to and spawn. And you can't say that's not annoying because there's always people sitting there, and it's really hard to rush to that area without being killed, especially if you're on a ground war. With more players, it's more likely that there's actually going to be someone that chooses to go to the camping spot and kill you while you're trying to get to a certain area on the map. And we can't really look at this picture and say that Array isn't a camper-friendly map, because it is, and for a lot of people that's a bad thing. So once again, what Modern Warfare 3 is going to do is they're going to eliminate these green circles. Well, they're not going to actually have green circles, but they're going to eliminate these hotspots on the map, and to make it that there's more pathways that people take, except for just two. They're more evened out. There's probably going to be side roads, and you saw that being a bit more common in Modern Warfare 2. And a couple of maps in Black Ops have this. But let's go on to the second demonstration of hotspots and camping spots, for which I picked Nuketown. So we're going to jump right into the hotspots on the map. We don't really need an overhead view. We know what Nuketown looks like. And we see the two main ones, one kind of encircling D-Dom and one encircling the in-between area of the two buses. In Search and Destroy and Demolition, we see the bomb site being here, and otherwise we just see this being one of the more trafficked areas because people run through here a lot. And obviously these two are the only places to be able to get from one map to another, which is why elongated maps such as the ones that you see in Black Ops like Havana and Nuketown, they kind of encourage these camping areas because there's not many places where players can rush from one part of the map to the other, and this causes it to be a very uneven side when like you're playing headquarters or when you're playing demolition or search and destroy. Players from one side of the map are kind of forced to go to the other through these narrow tunnels where it's easy to pick them off, and that's why it's not really good to have these hot spots that are kind of inevitable in the map. And if you thought that the camping spots in Array were plentiful, if there was a lot of them and you thought that was overwhelming, I was really troubled by the amount of red circles that I had to put into Nuketown. And I don't really see myself having much complaints about the map Nuketown, and I never really noticed it having this many camping spots. But there really are a lot of places where people just sit and wait for people to come into the. And now we see over a dozen red circles on the little tiny map known as Nuketown. And one of the things that we kind of notice about Nuketown when doing these kinds of projects is that even though it's well known as the smaller map on Black Ops, it has tremendously huge lines of sight. As you see the ones way back in the map, those can actually aim all the way down to the other side of the map because of the way that the houses are positioned. Another thing I want to say, the two little ovals off on the side, kind of placed out of the map, those are just the top floors of the houses. And as you see, there's always the two windows that people always like to sit in and overview the map, and those are just the big red circles over there. I'm not really going to review every single red circle because that's going to be a lot, but you see a lot of them being kind of back and behind cover, and that makes sense because that's, if you're going to be camping, that's what you're looking for. But I mean, I guess not as many people really camp in Nuketown, but they definitely do have a lot of options. And eliminating these hotspots will definitely reduce the amount of camping in the game, and I'm really looking forward to that. But now what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to the second section, and what they're going to do is, besides reducing the amount of hotspots in the maps, what the developers also said is that what they're going to do is they're going to flatten out the maps so that the elevations are equal. And this may seem like a bad thing to a lot of people, maybe some people that like to maybe interact more with the environment, and that doesn't really mean that they're going to take away all the interaction. That just simply means that they're going to take away all of these highly elevated king of the hill type areas where the people on the bottom have no chance of getting to kill the people on the top. And High Rise is a great example of a place with a lot of elevation, but not too much problems regarding elevation. There was always the crane, the buildings, and everything on the map. Every single little area on the map was accessible by a ladder or some secret jump spot. And I don't really think there was a giant camping problem on High Rise. I may be wrong, but I think the run and gun type was more friendly to people on High Rise. And what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the map Kowloon, and we should see a plain picture right now. But in the next slide, I'm going to highlight 3 different floors on which people can possibly be in the map. So now I've highlighted 1, 2, 3 different elevations on which players can stand on the map. And this is a very bad thing because this is going to cause the king of the hill type effect. The person in the top in the window is going to be looking down at the other two, and as everyone tries to rush up to him, he probably has a claymore behind him, he probably is using a motion sensor, and there's no possible way that you can get to that guy without pulling off some extremely impressive stunt. The person at the bottom is mostly screwed because when he's trying to rush up and get there, the person on the second floor has a good chance of killing him because of elevation priorities, and the person in the window has a chance of killing both of them. So this causes more of a hierarchy in how a player can function according to where they are on the map. And this can be reduced by just taking away these elevations, flattening out the maps, and making it more friendly to people that aren't maybe as good as the game, and at the same time making it more equal and not unfair to those people that know what they're doing but get killed randomly by people with a giant advantage on how they play. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode, guys. It was just meant to be a quick update. Didn't really turn out to be that quick. It's over 10 minutes long. Wow. So yeah, if you guys found this useful, I would myself appreciate a like. If you did not, you do not have to do anything. But that's pretty much it, guys. Theposionsnow out.